Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. All right. Hey, everybody, my name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. Glad you could make it. Good to see you all. What is going on Facebook? What's going on YouTube? What's going on Periscope? My people. Yeah. Can I get a hello if you can hear me? What's up, people? On the platforms there, on Facebook and on YouTube. What's up, Zara, on Facebook? How you doing, Zara? What's up, Ginger? How you doing? What's up, Bruce? How you doing? Lana, thank you so much, Lana. Much love to you. You two peoples. Yeah, hey. What's up, Rod? Thank you, Rod. I appreciate you. And thank you, Brad. I appreciate you. Thank you, Gary Webb. All right, guys. So look, guys, we're going to get into it now. Welcome to the show. You know, we cover the news here. We do our best to keep it as real as possible. It's not about party. It's about truth. You better tell somebody. I'm your host, Tim Black. You can find me at Real Tim Black. Just an announcement that there's some debates coming up. There are some debates coming up, guys. But before we get into that, before we get into those stories, let me start the top of the show with what's going on with the War Powers Resolution Act, right? So there was a vote today. If they were going to require that Donald J. Trump actually go through the proper procedure before he's engaging in Iran war conflict. Any type of action, military action within Iran, what would that be? If they're going to make him be accountable to the people. So this was really great stuff, guys. Check this out. I got a couple clips on there. I got a clip on this, and I think it's worth paying attention to. Let's go. This is the actual graphic that Brian Crosby sent to me. Limited military action against Iran. Okay, so we can see here, you can look at the vote here. This was a snapshot from the C-SPAN, which covered the vote. Democrats and Republicans in the independent, 224 to 194. So yay. Yes, they want to limit military action against Iran. And 194 voted against limiting action in Iran. All right, so there you go. You can see that the resolution is passed. And for a little bit more clarity on what that resolution looks like, what it contains, what it means, check this out.
Voting tonight on whether to limit the president's ability to take military action against Iraq. Tell us, what exactly does this measure do and how much teeth does it have?
This is not a large resolution. It's only over 4 pages long, but it is powerful. The House here is asserting its war powers and voting to limit, in its wording, the engagement of hostilities in or against Iran. What this resolution would do is it would say the president cannot engage with Iran unless 2 things happen. 1, there's a declaration of war by Congress, or 2, there's an imminent threat. Both of those are in this. Now, one question about this, though, Judy, it's a concurrent resolution. That's a special resolution that the president doesn't sign. It only has teeth if the Senate also passes a concurrent resolution. Judy, that's not the current plan in the Senate right now. Those who think that the president needs some limit on the engagement with Iran, like Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, they're going a different route right now. And they're going to propose just a normal resolution that the president would have to sign that would limit his powers. That's because it would get a fast track in the Senate. That kind of resolution has an easier vote. We expect that kind of vote as soon as next week in the Senate. But the point is, both chambers are moving right now and debating the president's war powers.
Okay, so let me give you some background about who voted, because I guess everyone wants to know, what are these Democrats, what of these sorry Democrats that voted against this resolution that would limit Donald Trump's powers in Iran. 8 Dems opposed the act. Brindisi? No, I'm going to be upfront. I don't know these people. I don't think I know them. Brindisi, Cunningham, Gottheimer, Horn, Luria, McAdams, Murphy, and Rose. 3 Republicans supported it. Gates, Massey, and Rooney. Now, look, your guess is as good as mine about who those people are. That's based on a tweet that also shared the graphic, the C-SPAN graphic, guys. I really don't know who those people are. But, it's kind of crazy that you would imagine that there would be people out there who think war is is possibility for a Democrat, or of the Democratic Party, that would vote that way. But yeah, I guess there were. Evidently, there were 8 Democrats probably in red districts, or in districts where the air is too thin and the oxygen can't get to the brain or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here. But as you can see, like war, now this is the way you would think war would be split up, right? In a vote in the United States. With Republicans being for war or being for giving the president all types of lateral control, unilateral control over if we're going to go to war or not. And the Democrats being against that type of control, giving that type of power to the president. Now, I agree that we should not be so crazy as to overlook the fact that the Democrats have supported many wars, including the war budget of the president. Now, this is the thing that causes problems and causes such animosity between those who are thinking people on their own, who don't just fall into the cattle type of thing. They say, wow, the Democratic Party, they don't want to vote for support of the war or to give Donald Trump all power in war, but they'll give him more money for war than he even asked for. There's a dissonance there that doesn't make sense. So this is part of the frustration that people have. So anybody who's new to this channel, you're watching like, what is Tim, a Democrat, or is Tim a Republican, or Tim an independent? Tim's just Tim Black, right? And this is the reason why. Because things make no sense. They make no sense, right? And this is where we are, and this is why I can't fall in behind any party. I'm only going to be about the issues. I'm going to, based on what the information is, that's why we make our decisions here. We're not sheep. We will not be corralled. We will not fall in line. We're going to stand up. And in this particular case, though, I could say, good. Thank you. Thank you. Now, make no mistake, this still has to go through the Senate. It's not an over and done thing, but this is one step towards reeling in that Donald Trump guy before he causes more harm and puts us in more peril. All right. There we go. There we go, guys. All right. So comment in the comment section. Let me know. Let me ask a question. Do you guys think, I know this is probably crazy to ask this question, but what do you guys think about Tim Black's Wolfpack? What do you think about Donald Trump's actions up to this point? And is it too late, or did we dodge a bullet and we're good? So what do you think about Donald Trump's actions up to this point? And are we good now, or are we still in harm's way with World War III hanging over the horizon somewhere? All right. So anyway. Well, since that wasn't a long segment, let's go ahead and jump into our next segment, all right? Number 2.
A new poll shows a 3-way tie for first place in Iowa between Senator Bernie Sanders, former Vice President Joe Biden, and former Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
Poll, Sanders, Biden.
All right. We good here? Okay, so check this out, guys. Earlier this week on this channel, I covered where we were as far as polling in New Hampshire and Iowa. And it showed that there was a 3-way tie in Iowa. What we have is a little bit more information about those polls and a conversation needs to be had about New Hampshire. As we get closer, and closer to what's going to be definitely a very interesting primary season, this is what we have. Morning Joe, they discuss these polling, the polling data, and what it shows to us regarding all of the candidates that are left in the race. So here we go. Check it out.
A new poll shows a three-way tie for first. A new poll shows a three-way tie for first place in Iowa between Senator Bernie Sanders, former Vice President Joe Biden, and former Mayor Pete Buttigieg. According to the latest CBS YouGov poll, Sanders, Biden, and Buttigieg are all tied at 23% in the early primary state. Senator Elizabeth Warren follows with 16% of support, down 2 points. Senator Amy Klobuchar rounds out the top five at 7%, also up 2. Meanwhile, in New Hampshire, Sanders and Biden are statistically tied. Sanders leads with 27% of support, up 7 points since November. Biden follows with 25%, up 3. Both sit within the polls' over 5-point margin of error. Warren now sits at 18%, down 13 points. Buttigieg has 13%, down 3, and Klobuchar has 7%, up 4 since November. Some candidates on the move up. Vaughn?
Exactly. And I think the question, look, we're 28 days away here from the Iowa caucus. And when you're looking at foreign policy, is never named as a top priority among Democratic voters, even on the campaign trail here over just the last week alone. The question has hardly come up to these candidates. And yes, you have Joe Biden, you know, the former chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, who Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg questioned his early Iraq war vote. But what you're seeing from these candidates on the Democratic side is a very coherent message. And that's one, well, largely putting their finger up in the air because of a lack of understanding of where the Trump administration's foreign policy is itself is. I mean, look, inauguration is 12 months away from now. And you go back, I mean, even back in October when the Trump administration decided to pull troops out of northern Syria. Even Bernie Sanders condemned the action, saying that the U.S. had decided to abandon its allies. When you're looking at this polling here, what you're seeing is Joe Biden continue to hold on to that large support. If we could pull up that poll there where you're looking from CBS in that poll there yesterday, voters were asked, who do you think has the best chance essentially to beat Donald Trump? And the folks, they said that 87% of Democratic primary voters think Joe Biden could beat Donald Trump. When you're looking at the rest of the numbers, there's a significant drop-off. And what you've continued to see over the last year is the top priority for Democrats is beating Donald Trump. There's a second poll here. And so what you see in Iowa, an incredibly large share of the Democratic electorate thinking that Joe Biden is the best position to beat Donald Trump. At the same time, there's frankly little enthusiasm for his candidacy. You see there, among the folks that say that these candidates are their top choice, Joe Biden, 49% of folks that named Joe Biden as their top choice say that they're enthusiastic about supporting him. And that's where you see, on the contrary, 67% of the folks that say Bernie Sanders is their top choice say that they are enthusiastic about that. And that's why where you see Bernie Sanders leading in New Hampshire and tied essentially there in Iowa, what you're seeing out of a Bernie Sanders candidacy is one that goes not only among folks that like Elizabeth Warren, but also if you look at the polling, Joe Biden supporters, who do they say their second choice is right now? It's Bernie Sanders. And I'll bring up Andrew Minard. I met him on Friday night at a Pete Buttigieg event over in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We were having a conversation through the weekend. When we talked in Portsmouth, he said that he was deciding between Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders. Yesterday, I said, who are you going with? And he said, I plan 1 month from now to go with Bernie Sanders. And, you know, and a lot of folks, I think we try to bring this down to is it Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. And then there's the Pete Buttigieg or Joe Biden wing. But Andrew, he was on top of this and he said, quote, they are both bold and fearless and they exercise discipline and fairness in judgment.
All right. So there you have it now. Just checking out that poll, and you see in New Hampshire, just the Bernie Sanders. That's where I like to look at. Now, of course, Iowa is interesting, the fact that there's a three-way tie there, theoretically. Now, look, that could all change. As has been noted many times, you know, that pollings are nothing but snapshots in time. Things change over days or less than days. Any act, any piece of footage, any new media that comes out, new news that comes out, or new news, any information that comes out may change a person's opinion. They may see an ad on TV. Their cousin may call them up. Their grandmother may give them grief, and all of a sudden they change their opinion. So these things are very fluid. Never take a poll, guys, as being the end-all, be-all. There's a lot of other aspects that come into who's going to win an election, not just polling. It could be the ground game, the ability to get people out to the polls. All these things factor in, okay? But I like to bring attention to New Hampshire because I find that to be the most interesting place, right? in the early battleground, in the early upfront states. Bernie, up 7 points. Up 7 points. Biden, up 3 points. And Warren, down 13 points. Guys, like, there have been a couple people who have been upset with me because they like Elizabeth Warren. And look, like I said before, I don't begrudge anybody. If you support whoever you support, I'm sure you support them for a good reason. I'm hoping at the end of the day that you will join our big tent in the Bernie Sanders wing and become a Bernie Sanders supporter when this is all said and done, because I believe that's the future of not only the Democratic Party but the country. But I digress. We got to call it what it is. Now, Bernie Sanders was down 13 points in New Hampshire. People be telling him to drop out. They were telling him to drop out when he wasn't down 13 points. So we got Elizabeth Warren down 13 points. She throws the Hail Mary by pulling in Julian Castro, who's doing his best Chris Christie, somebody shoot me impersonation. And she dances about on stage. I need to run that clip. Maybe we'll put that clip in here for the edited version. But look, I'm just saying, guys, if you're down 13 points, that's a big dip. Pete was down 3, and that's worth conversating, but she had 4 times the slide of Mayor Pete. Amy Klobuchar up 4. I didn't say it was fair, I didn't say it was right. I wonder what Amy Klobuchar is doing rising too. But there has to be a reason. There's a disconnection between Elizabeth Warren and the voter interest, or what she's talking about, or something's going on. And I think it was the fact that she started moving away from core policies, name it, and I'm talking about Medicare for All, which makes I think a lot of progressive voters or people who are in support of Medicare for All go, well, if you don't support that, then that's kind of a deal breaker. Insurance or health coverage is the biggest issue in the independents and in the Democratic Party. There's no other issue more relevant, more important to voters than health coverage. So if you get that one wrong, and you're not Joe Biden, and you're not Mayor Pete, then that's going to be a problem. It's very simple. All right? And I know it's a tough race. I mean, we got Elizabeth Warren, we got Bernie Sanders, and we got Michael Bloomberg. I mean, it couldn't get more contentious. Now, and there's just something else that was brought out in this clip here. Foreign policy is never a barometer for judging candidates in the Democratic Party. It's never been an issue that moved an election. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's cool. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying that's just reality. This is why people get mad at me. They want to hear it their way. This is the truth, guys. It's not just me saying it. Whoever this guy is from the MSNBC, contributor guy, he's right. I've never met a person in the hood that I've ever talked to about politics who was like, man, our foreign policy is so bad, I'm going to vote for such and such because their foreign policy is so much better. Nor do people that I typically, the people that I know, that I have daily interactions with, people that I grew up with, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying it's my experience. It's anecdotal, but I've been on the earth a while. Nor have I heard people say, Tim Black, oh my God, if they weren't spending this money on war, they'd spend it on the poor. Because when they weren't spending money on the poor or the money on the war, they weren't spending it on the poor. So you can't just say, oh, if we stop spending money on war, we're going to spend it on the poor, because they come up with something. They always come up with something, don't they, Johnson? Whether it's a space army or some other government program that they want to, that helps corporations or something. I don't know. More tax breaks for the rich. I don't know. So that's the fight. That is the fight, guys. Also discussing this clip is I don't even know how you explain this. How do you explain that people think Biden has the best chance of beating Donald Trump? I'll tell you what I think. This is what I think. This is why I think that these voters assume that Joe Biden would be the better combatant to take on Donald Trump in a general election. It's because they think that more of their friends support Biden. They think that, oh, he must have more support, so therefore, he would be the better candidate. It's a mind thing. It's where they just assume, based on all of the media that's out there, that keeps on saying that Joe Biden is most electable, Joe Biden is most electable, that media is actually accurate. They do not know that media cannot be trusted. That media is a liar. It's a liar, liar. Iran on fire. It's a fallacy. There is no data out there that presents, that says that Joe Biden will be. In fact, if you look at history, if history tells you anything, Joe Biden has never won a delegate. He's ran for president 1, 2, and maybe 2.5 times. He's never won a single delegate, ever. All right, so there it is. And the main reason why he keeps getting reelected in Delaware, or he was reelected in Delaware so many times, is that he sucked up the most to Wall Street. He sucked up the most to big pharmaceuticals. He sucked up the most to the corporations in Delaware, so he could outspend his closest competitor 5-1. That's really the strength of Joe Biden. What I also find very daunting about this survey, or about this polling data, is the fact that enthusiasm. Now, when we talk about what wins elections, one of the things that win elections, we discussed it briefly earlier. It's not just the polling, it's the ability to get the people that are polling to the polls. It's the ability to get the people that you never call up and never ever represented in your poll to the polls. And what does that, guys? What does that, Wolfpack? A ground game. A great ground game. Grassroots. Enthusiasm. Most enthusiastic group of supporters, Bernie Sanders, hands down, bar none. This is what the data shows. Once again, the data is just a snapshot in time. But if you factor in the fact that Bernie Sanders has been campaigning since 2015, has offices all across the country, has an organization called Our Revolution that started building that infrastructure back in 2015, 2016. And then we have these candidates that are trying to catch up. Well, what do you have? I think that when they do this polling, they say, who you think is more likely to be able to defeat Donald Trump? The people that are answering these questions are not privy to the information that I just gave you. What they are privy to is ranting or commentary that is unsubstantiated from organizations like MSNBC, CNN, CBS, ABC, and the like. And they're just repeating what they heard. But on the ground, it's a different story, guys. So Johnson, we will keep our heads up. We'll keep moving forward as we go closer and closer to this 2020 primary season, which will begin in just, a month? We're just a month outside of Iowa. All right, stay tuned, guys. We'll be coming back with segments on Elizabeth Warren on The View and who made the debates for January. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned. By popular demand, Johnson is here. I have new Johnson designs in my shop. If you want to pick them up, check them out. They are hilarious. They are revolutionary. And they're all Johnson. You're going to love them, man. Check them out. Both parties suck, Johnson. It's one of my favorites. Independent media only, Johnson. Keep it real. We are all Johnson. We are. We're one big community, guys. Go check it out. Independent media only. Johnson's in the house. Both parties suck, Johnson. We are here. They got a special going on right now. Free shipping. Get it today. Wolfpack. All right. All right, guys, so a special announcement about the channel, guys. What's been going on lately, I don't know if you noticed, but the Tim Black, the TBTV channel, is struggling. Hey, we're struggling. Not unlike most of Americans, we're having a hard time making ends meet, making it happen. I know we look like we're successful, but we're not that successful. Part of the problem is as a commenter in my YouTube comment section said on the video that I put a lot of work into, they said, Tim Black, I love your show, Tim Black. You're one of the best commentators, one of the most entertaining and informative commentators I've ever met on YouTube. Why don't you have more subscribers? And without me having to say a word, someone said it for me. They said, well, YouTube's not recommending his videos to new subscribers. That's why, Johnson. And that, my friends, is the situation that we have. One way to mitigate that is to have people actually join the Tim Black Wolfpack. You do that by going to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. You do that also on YouTube by becoming a member. One of the things it looks like I'm going to have to go to is moving my tiers up to $5 a month in order to help compensate for it. Now look, guys, we put out at least 20 video shows a month. 20. We also put out clips that are independent clips, shorter clips that, I don't know, maybe another 25 clips a week. So 25 clips a week, well, 20 shows a week, 20 shows a month, plus, I don't know, 10, 20 clips a week. That's a lot of clips. I don't even want to do the math in my head. It's making my head hurt, y'all. All right? So let's just say every month we put out about 50 clips. I'm just going to round it down, okay? We have people right now who are supporting the channel who give as little as $1 or $2 a month. Now, all I'm going to ask is that anybody who watches this show, who values this show, strongly consider what that says. First of all, whether you give it on Facebook or you give it on YouTube or you give it on Patreon, I don't get the whole $5 anyway. This show, in order to keep it active, to keep it going, I think we could say, hey guys, maybe $5 should be our benchmark. I want to give people a heads up because people get pushed back. People say, Tim, I can't do it, and I understand that. But it's got to be a cost to the membership because based on the fact that we can't get the advertising revenue, we can't get the sponsorship, we can't get the support, YouTube clobbers us in the algorithm. We got to do something to stay viable. Either that or go work for UPS. Do you want me delivering your UPS packages? Maybe you do, Johnson. I'd rather not. So, folks, please consider upping your support level of this show. We're not going to name names, but I think that we qualify to be one of the best independent media news networks. It is a factual statement to say the Tim Black Wolfpack, the Tim Black TV show, is the most watched black independent news media on the left in the country. That's a fact. And the fact that we can barely keep our doors open is a shame. Help make it less of a shame by joining us at patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. I appreciate you, Johnson. All right. Now, look, guys, I've been covering Elizabeth Warren because somebody has to cover her. There's been a reluctance from the Bernie Sanders campaign to call out Elizabeth Warren, and I understand why. Now, this is all anecdotal. This is just my opinion. But I believe that they say that they look at Elizabeth Warren as someone whose followers and supporters are very akin to Bernie Sanders, and they don't want to alienate or disorient or cause a fissure between those supporters and the possibility that they might support Bernie if it came down to it. I don't have those types of problems, Johnson. I call it as I see it because I don't work for any campaign, and this is just what I do. This is my job. Elizabeth Warren appeared on The View today. Well, not today. 2 days ago. 2 days ago. She appeared on The View when she was asked a couple of questions. One of those about adversity or diversity. And the other, she got a little, well, look, I'm going to run the clip of Elizabeth Warren, and we're going to give our scathing or our applause or our love, but whatever we do, we're going to keep it real. Here's that clip of Elizabeth Warren on The View.
have been dying to ask you this question. One of the most prominent young progressives, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, is supporting your rival, Bernie Sanders. She says that there is such a thing as too big of a tent, and that it is ridiculous that she is even in the same party as moderates like Joe Biden. It's ridiculous. Half of Democrats identify as moderate or conservative. Just 11% of Democrats identify as socialists. So can you be progressive, have a big tent, or do you agree with AOC that it's bad for your party to have too big of a tent?
So I think Alexandra was talking about other political systems. There are a lot of political systems where it's multiple parties, but we are in a two-party system. And in a two-party system, you better believe Democrats need a really big tent. We need to win. And it's one of the things I've loved about doing so many town halls. You know, because I don't do the big dollar fundraisers, I don't sell access
No
to
wine cellars for you?
No.
Senator?
Nope. It means, though, I've had a lot more time because I haven't been off hanging out with the corporate executives and the millionaires and the billionaires. And so I'm approaching 200 town halls. I've been to 29 states and Puerto Rico. I've had town halls in blue states and red parts of blue states. I have people come to my town halls who say they're folks who voted for Trump. They are registered Republicans, but they're open-minded and they want to think about change. I have independents who come to it, who are looking, because that was the point I was making earlier about my brothers. There are a whole set of issues in which it's not just the same old, same old. You say the Republican Party and you say the Democratic Party. This is about who government works for. We have a government that works great for those at the top, works great for giant drug companies, just not for somebody trying to get a prescription filled. Works great for giant oil companies that want to drill everywhere, just not for the rest of us who see climate change bearing down.
I'm curious, has AOC asked for your advice? As the new person coming in, she sat you down and said, what can I learn from you about how the process works?
So we have talked, yes, and we've actually sponsored some legislation together.
Videos together.
We have some great stuff that we've worked on together, particularly about private equity that comes in and sucks up value out of companies. Some of you may remember Toys R Us,
and I think that's
Sears.
And that's one of the raps I think that she gets, that she doesn't work with
That's
a
why
lot
I'm
of
curious,
people, but she works with a lot of people. I really want to get this in because we don't have much time.
Sure.
You know, the Democratic Party is supposed to be a very diverse party, but we've seen Cory Booker not make the debate stage. We've seen Kamala Harris withdraw. We've seen Julian Castro now withdrawing from the race, but endorsing you.
Yes.
And what does that say about the Democratic Party that now the front runners are really a non-diverse group?
Right. I think this is a real problem. And I want to underline in particular the influence of money in this whole process. You know,
because you need the black female vote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, she's half there.
And this is why, for example, groups like Black Women For, who've endorsed me, who are
You have
out
11%
building a
right now.
coalition all across the country, is just terrific. But you know, think about it this way: Kamala Harris brought a really terrific voice to this debate, and the very day that Kamala said, I have to get out of this race because of money, is the same day a billionaire bought his way onto the debate stage. We cannot be a party, we cannot be a democracy in which the only way you get to be president of the United States is you either are a billionaire or
Then
you
take
suck
money
out
out of
a
it.
billionaire.
Take money out of it.
That's right.
You know what?
Pitch in $5
We will
at
have
ElizabethWarren.com.
more.
All right. All right, so here we go. There goes Elizabeth Warren. You just heard her there. Folks, let me make sure everything's cool with the volume here. There we go. Now, here's the thing, guys. There are some things Elizabeth Warren said in this clip that were good, and some things she said that were not that good, okay? One of the things she said was, okay, look, AOC, first of all, let me back up. The framing of the comment or the question by Cindy McCain was disingenuous. Cindy McCain, what's her name? Let's call her John McCain's daughter. I mean, just do that. John McCain's daughter. Because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't know who she was anyway, right? Okay. All right. So the framing was incorrect anyway. AOC didn't say we shouldn't have a big tent. She said that Joe Biden and I shouldn't be in the same party. And she's right, Johnson. To Elizabeth Warren's credit, AOC was referring to the fact that in other countries, there are multiple parties. There are multiple parties, and say for in the UK, for instance, there would be a different versions of the left. There would be left, not so left, and crazy left, or straight out left and socialist left. There would be these divisions so that people actually wouldn't have to undermine their own values in order to exist within a party. They could find a party that more represented them in the way that it saw the world and what they thought the solutions for the world might be. As it stands now, Elizabeth Warren's correct. We do exist in a two-party system. There are those, and I'm one of those people, who support us breaking up and forming multiple parties. The problem is with our current system, it's directly opposed to a third party. A third party would have such a steep climb. There's so many rules that need to be changed in order to free up and make room for there to be a viable third party option. So to AOC's credit, she's making a good point. And also you got to remember, she is effectively a surrogate for Bernie Sanders at this point. So she's going to be able to take jabs at Joe Biden, though I agree with her, at Joe Biden about his record and about what he represents. In another world, Joe Biden would be a Republican or some other form or something else, a moderate Republican or a moderate Democrat, something in the middle there that puts him in a party next to Ronald Reagan. Okay. But then things got a little off track for Elizabeth Warren, because then she started going into the whole, diversity. And I hate when they start asking questions about diversity, because very rarely will it be addressed in the way it should be addressed. For instance, Sonny Hostin brought up Kamala Harris, or those who had to drop out. Julian Castro most recently, Kamala Harris a little earlier. And the fact that Cory Booker hasn't made we won't be making the future debates, the next debate, which we'll talk about later. But the reasons why Kamala Harris and Cory Booker will not make the debates has a lot less to do with their ethnicity, and has more to do, I believe, with their policies and with the footprint that they have. Now, don't get me wrong, race is always an issue. This is America. For those not aware or unaware, race exists. But you can't say it's all because of big donors and Wall Street execs or what have you, or billionaires. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker have taken more Wall Street money, more millionaire and billionaire money than any other candidates. I mean, they're right at the top of the list. Kamala was number one and Cory Booker was number two. So you can't say, hey, we need to get rid of billionaires when you're taking more billionaire money than anyone else. Once again, I'm not saying that Kamala Harris should be out of this race. I think it's better for her career that she be out of this race, because frankly, she was getting beat like a drum in her own state. I mean, if you've been a prosecutor in San Francisco, if you've been the Attorney General of California, if you're a sitting senator of California, and you come in fourth, yeah, it's time to exit. Stage left, Johnson. Or face a hard challenge come election time for you as senator. Now, these are all factors that no one's going to really address other than independent media. People don't want to call it out. They don't want to make enemies within the Democratic Party. They want their access to candidates. They want their access to the influential. But it is the truth, and it should be stated. For the record, yeah, race has something to do with it, but so does money. And so does the fact that Kamala Harris didn't have a strong platform. Now, that doesn't negate the fact that we still had Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar is still in this race. I don't understand why. That shouldn't be. I'm wondering what's that prosecutor still doing there. But it is what it is. It's not as if she's gonna win the thing. She's not. All right. I was surprised, though, guys. I was surprised that Elizabeth Warren didn't bring up selfies. Yeah, every time I turned around, she was talking about selfies, and I'm surprised. It was like, is she going to say selfies? Because she started talking about all the states she went to. Yeah. Selfies are not a replacement for actual policies and people believing and trusting that those policies that you are saying you're going to implement, you actually stand behind those policies. And I think that Elizabeth Warren has a lot to learn in that regard. Yeah, and if you want to thwart the attacks of more moderate Democrats like Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden, the way to do it is not to move further or closer to them. I would say it's to move away from them. Leave them on that island of mediocrity and corporate democratic or scumocratic positioning. All right. Let me know what you think in the comments section. How did Elizabeth Warren do in this View interview? Did she make any sense? Do you agree with her? And should there be more parties? Do we need more parties? I think I know the answer to that, but I'd be great to hear what you think. All right. I'm going to go to the next segment here. Yeah, so I do want to comment on this. There's somebody in the comment section, and I know this is crazy, you shouldn't do this, but I'm not mad at you. I just want to embarrass you. There's somebody in the comment section, when I brought up the situation with my channel, they brought up another YouTuber. A YouTuber not even in the United States. Now, we just welcomed you back to our community. We just let you back in the door. And then you make comments that don't make sense. They compare my channel to a channel, folks, that has only 700 videos. We have 3,000. No comparison. They compared my channel to a channel that only had less than 3 million views. We have 30 million views plus. So really, there is no comparison. In the just world, I should be further along this road. I've also interviewed senators, former senators, and sitting congresspeople. I've interviewed presidential candidates here in the United States. I don't think they've done that. So when we start talking about where people should be and where people shouldn't be, I guess at the end of the day, it all comes down to what your preference is. If you don't want to support this channel, I get it. But the least you could do is not dunk on me in my own comment section while you watch free content when I ask you to support the channel. And if you do, and you get blocked, don't DM me for help. All right, I'll be back with the next segment. It's about the dim debates. You're going to love this one. By popular demand, Johnson is here. I have new Johnson designs in my shop. If you want to pick them up, check them out. They are hilarious. They are revolutionary. And they're all Johnson. You're going to love them, man. Check them out. Both parties suck, Johnson. It's one of my favorites. Independent media only, Johnson. Keep it real. We are all Johnson. We are. We're one big community, guys. Go check it out. Independent media only. Johnson's in the house. Both parties suck, Johnson. We are here. They got a special going on right now. Free shipping. Get it today. Wolfpack. All right. Wow, folks. It's happening, guys. It's happening. Where's that data? It's happening, guys. The January debates are at our doorstep. In fact, there's only one day left to qualify for said debates. Now, many of us here who support multiple candidates, many of us who want to see the best candidate be represented when it comes to 2020, we're a year out of inauguration. We're sitting around, we're wondering what's going on with this process. Well, we have just now got an updated list of who qualified for the debate so far, and it is what it is. Let's take a look. So far for the January debates that are scheduled for, was it the 14th? I think it is. The 14th? Yes, it is. January 14th. So far, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and just in, Tom Steyer has qualified. Now, that is it leaves a lot of people pretty stumped. The fact that Tom Steyer, what is it, billionaire guy? I don't know how much money he spent, but he spent a lot of money in order to be on that debate stage. And people are pissed off. What is Tom Steyer? Why is Tom Steyer going to be here? And you know what? I will make a statement. I'll go out on a limb and say the reason that Tom Steyer is going to be here is because he looks like an elf. And he has the elf magic working for him. You know the Keebler elves on those commercials? The ones with the cookies? That and the fact that he's got a little bit of money. He's got a couple of dollars to rub together. And he's willing to spend it in order to get what? Advertising dollars, advertising time. And with our low information public, who's been relying on cable news media to inform them, which doesn't do that, it does more of misinform them, what do you got? We got people that are overworked, under-respected, underappreciated, underinformed, and then you put a guy like Tom Steyer with the ability to run millions of dollars of ads in that demographic in order to boost up their poll ratings. That's why I agree. I agreed with Kamala Harris on these points that we do need to get money out of politics. I support getting money out of politics. I also support people actually running on things that matter. But Tom Steyer being able to squeeze his way into a debate stage when some other candidates, more viable candidates such as Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard, lay in limbo, that's a problem, Johnson. Now, some people on this channel, or some people who have come to this channel, think the fact that I don't always agree with a candidate means that I hate them, disagree with them, or diss them, or lack any support for them whatsoever. Nothing can be further from the truth. I don't have to like everything you do to think that you deserve a fair shake in our democracy. The fact that you think that one cannot challenge the candidate but also support a candidate but challenge a candidate is a problem. We should be able to challenge these candidates. They're running for the highest office in the land. But to call them cowards, to say that they are betraying their supporters, to use inflammatory language like that is what I have a problem with, and that's what I've called out in the past. I will continue to do so. So anyway, back to Tom Steyer. Tim Black, what are the requirements for a candidate to be in this race or to be on the debate stage in January? Why the hell are Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard and Cory Booker, to a lesser extent, why aren't they going to be on the debate stage? Well, here goes the requirements. To make the debate stage, you must be at least 5% in the polls approved by the party between November 14th and January 10th, or at least 7% in 2 early state polls. That is what's the sticking point for this. So we're talking about what polls, Tim? Well, what states? Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. Yeah. Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. Yeah, that's it. Candidates also need to earn donations from at least 225 unique donors and a minimum of 1,000 unique donors in at least 20 states. All right. So this threshold has been effective in keeping a lot of candidates out of the debates, for better or for worse. So far, just one candidate who participated in the Democratic debates in December, Andrew Yang, has yet to qualify for this round. So if things hold true, and I'm not saying I want them to, but if things hold true, Andrew Yang will not be in these debates. But he has one more day. So I saw that Andrew Yang was petitioning the DNC to allow more polls be accepted in order so that he could meet the qualifications. I don't know which polls that were accepted or not accepted or unacceptable. Which brings us back to the point that billionaire activist Tom Steyer narrowly made the cut thanks to January 9th Fox News poll from Nevada and South Carolina. Sorry, folks, it is what it is. A little bit more information. Senator Cory Booker, he met the donor threshold, but has had no qualifying polls in this or the last debate qualifying period. He has not polled at 5% since March. Representative Tulsi Gabbard was just one poll shy of qualifying for the December debate, though she announced via Twitter on December 9th that she would not participate in the debates even if she made it. For January, she has not yet to meet the donor threshold or have any qualifying polls. New York Mayor Mike Bloomberg has polled at least 5% in enough national polls, but his campaign said he won't accept political donations, which prevents him from reaching the donor threshold for January debate. And I got to say, guys, if you won't be in any debates, which is probably his strategy not to be challenged publicly, can you imagine? Just picture for a second Michael Bloomberg up on that stage and, I don't know, someone challenging him on his prosecutorial, or not prosecutorial, but his stop and frisk policies, or someone bringing up the fact that he brought himself a third term as mayor of New York. Yeah. And we all know that Michael Bloomberg has the personality of Toe Jam, the charisma of the letter 7. I mean, he's a horrible candidate in a lot of ways. I don't know why people like him. In fact, I've never met somebody who did like him. So anyway, there it goes, folks. Look, I'm going to update you. I'm going to update you to the Democratic debates, let you know what's happening, who made it. I, for the record, would rather see Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard up on that debate stage. I've been saying that throughout. But I don't make the rules. If I did, Tom Steyer would not be on the stage. There it is. All right, guys, tomorrow, Freedom Friday. That means you get to call up. What I'm doing, you get to do. They won't see you, but they'll hear you doing it. All right? So tomorrow's Freedom Friday. Callers from all over the world, frankly, call up and they speak truth to power. We record that show. It goes out as a podcast and as a video cast or whatever you want to call it. I encourage you to be here to voice your opinion, things you agree with, things you disagree with, news that you think did not get the coverage it deserves. And that's one of the things that always befuddles me. People say, Tim Black, you didn't cover this, you didn't cover that. Well, I have a call-up show where you can cover it. Damn it, man. I have a phone line which allows you to call up and you can cover it. What you mean is you are too lazy to speak truth to power about the issues that you care about most. There is no reason not to. No one sees your face. You can do it in your boxers or you can do it in your thong. Thong, 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 thong. You just call up, man. You say, hey, what about Julian Assange? But you don't. Instead, you write me and complain. You call up Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Freedom Friday, every Friday. It's paid for. You call up. You reach thousands of people. Be a part of it. There's no excuse. If you don't call up, well, speak now, forever hold your peace. All right, folks, I'm Tim Black. Now it's time for me to go to my super chat and give back and also shout out my Patreons who support this channel. Thank you guys so much. Oh, man, here we go, guys. We got a couple of people. We have Glenda Nalloway. Glenda Nalloway has just become a member of the Wolfpack. Thank you, Glenda. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you. Annette McDonald, also a member. Amazing. Thank you, Annette, for joining. Imagine, also a member. Thank you, Imagine. I appreciate you. What's going on? And also Princess Queen. Man, we got 4 new people in one day. That's why they say, man, you got to voice your opinion. I got to be a better communicator and let you know what's going on. So thank you so much, guys, for joining the Tim Black Wolfpack. It matters. You keep this show alive, really. Great thoughts are great, but we all know, like, you gotta fund it because things are tough. I give what I can, Johnson, Bernie 2020. Steve B, thank you, Steve B, and I appreciate you. And that's all I'm asking, guys. But I got to let people know what the situation is. It ain't my fault, it ain't your fault, it's YouTube's fault. They're not sharing the videos, Johnson. IR Nobody. Well, you somebody to me, I are nobody. Thank you for joining the Tim Black Wolfpack. I appreciate you, Johnson. You keep the show alive. Thank you so much, my friend. Kiki, thanks, Tim. Bye, everybody. And she's gone. All right, there you go. David Maysell became a member today. Thank you, David Maysell. I appreciate you. Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Don't forget tomorrow, Freedom Friday. It's on you. Become a member of it. We got it cranking, all right? I love you. Don't forget, don't let nobody take your cornbread. Don't argue with people. Sprinkle some facts on them. I see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Also, come back to the YouTube channel. Check out the new videos that we upload. We are going to be killing it. And that's another thing. We got an editor that also helps me with the edits because this one-man show thing, it ain't going to survive. So we had to like farm out some of the editing because I can't do it all. Peace, Johnson. Oh, there you go. My name is Tim Black. You're now tuned into the most watched Black independent media news network in the country. We cover politics, we cover pop culture, we cover whatever matters in your Oh, there you go. My name's Tim Black. You're now tuned into the most watched Black independent media news network in the country. We cover politics, we cover pop culture, we cover whatever matters in your world. If it goes down, I'm covering it. We do a show, live show, Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Friday nights, we got what? A call-in show. Anybody can call in. Throughout the week, we put out little clips, short clips of important news. You don't want to miss it. Stay on top of your news. Go with a reliable source. I'm there for you. TBTV, this is where it's at. Subscribe today and remember, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. Johnson.